I don't know what people were thinking when they voted for him.
It's not always been great people that have been on the cover of Time.
And let's remember who else has been given this title: Adolf Hitler.
So he's in that kind of company as well.
All of the things that Trump is promising now in his economic agenda will make inflation worse.
Cheaper energy?
First
make
of all,
it worse?
So you guys knew this was coming. The View had a meltdown over Trump winning Person of the Year. They also attacked people who supported him, called them misinformed, and CNN is continuing to push the hoax that if Trump implements these tariffs, cost of living will skyrocket. All of this and more in this video, but let's start with what Joy Behar had to say about voters.
I don't know what people were thinking when they voted for him. I mean, this one statistic really got to me. He lost, during his term, 200,000 manufacturing jobs. He lost them.
Yeah.
Joe Biden added more than 775,000 jobs. And people voted for Trump. I think that they have been misinformed, misled by other networks. You know, people get mad at us. They say we're one-sided here. The statistics are here.
So the saying goes, don't believe anything that you hear and only half of what you see. So when I went and actually did the research on these numbers, come to find out, everything they said was false. There were 1.4 million manufacturing jobs lost during COVID. Trump was able to recover about 600,000 of those, and Joe Biden recovered 775,000 of those. And the true surplus of what Joe Biden was able to produce during this past administration was somewhere between 100 and 200,000 jobs. But that level of delusion continues because here is Navarro trashing Trump over his Time Magazine Person of the Year cover.
Look, for me, I was like, okay, at least this is a real Time Magazine cover, because you remember he used to keep a fake.
What was his
yes,
name?
he used to keep a fake Time Magazine cover where
That's the fake one
that he used to keep in his country clubs. And also, just as you know, so you know, he's it's not always been great people that have been on the cover of Time, right? It's been people like Joseph Stalin and Adolf Hitler and Khrushchev and Khomeini. So he's in that kind of company as well.
Now, let's be clear about something. There's nothing wrong with actually creating a fake graphic of something you truly want to achieve in the future. In fact, it's probably one of the most smartest ways to get your mindset in order to achieve what you want in life. And that's just a classical thing that all athletes do, by the way, as well. So I don't know where she was going with that. Now, The View wasn't the only one to melt down over Trump winning Person of the Year. Here's our favorite person on TV, Deranged Reed.
Better or for worse is not much of a ringing endorsement, and we all know which one Trump falls under. And let's remember who else has been given this title in years past in the same category: Adolf Hitler, Joseph Stalin, Ayatollah Khomeini, and Vladimir Putin. In fact, Stalin won the distinction twice, just like Trump. Regardless of the company he keeps, we know how important these magazine covers are to Trump. Just look at this tour he gave the Washington Post in 2015 of his Trump Tower office, with a wall adorned with his various cover appearances.
So I guess now they're saying that because he's been on the cover of Time Magazine and Hitler was too, I guess he's in good company. And this is why where you get your news from is so important, which brings me to today's sponsor, Ground News. Head over to ground.news/Devori to check them out today. So let me show you how this tool can help you cut through the bias, of course. And we search up this story here. Donald Trump is named Time Magazine Person of the Year. And what this tool will do is import all of the articles and organize it across the political spectrum. So we're going to see articles that are labeled to be on the left and then articles that are labeled to be on the right. And here's an example of one of those articles on the left. Time Magazine picks fascist Trump as Person of the Year. Now that screams bias. And here's an article that's labeled to be on the right. Trump named Time's Person of the Year for historic second time. And that's why they have something called the bias distribution score here that will tell you which way the story actually leans. And then they have another powerful feature called the blind spot tool. This is a tool that will help you see stories that are disproportionately covered by only one side of the political spectrum. And that's why I love Ground News, and you will too. So head over to the link in the description below, my pinned comment, or scan the QR code. It's going to take you over to ground.news/Devori to get 50% off the Vantage plan for the rest of this year. And you can, if you're already a subscriber, you can gift that same 50% off to a family or friend.
Now, what I'm looking for is like what the delta between what he said he's going to do and what he's actually going to do. And it's often very far, because he was smart to talk about what voters cared about on the campaign trail. So the cost of living, grocery prices, gas prices, and so on. I'm really curious to hear what the actual plan is to address those.
He doesn't have a plan. He has concepts of a plan.
Well, and there have been some smart people that were appointed to roles, but then he's talking about things like tariffs that are literally going to bring the cost of every single thing.
I don't know what.
So over the next 4 years, we're going to find out who is actually telling the truth. Either Trump is actually smarter than these individuals and knows exactly what he's doing, and he's going to use tariffs as a way to leverage other companies to give us what we want so we can have more economic freedom in our country, or he's just flat out wrong and the prices are going to skyrocket. Now, of course, I don't believe that. And this takes me actually to the next clip, because CNN is pushing this same damn story that these tariffs are going to kill America's economy. Watch.
All of the things that Trump is promising now in his economic agenda will make inflation worse.
Cheaper energy?
First
make
of all,
it worse?
Oil production is at an all-time high. We are producing more oil per day in this country than any country has in history.
I think energy producers would tell you the government is put a boot on its on their
Trump's own donors in the fossil fuel industry.
About that we are producing more oil now than even when Trump was in office.
Well, it's more. That's a fact. It's about more than just oil production. There's all sorts of.
We're also producing
refining capacity,
we're producing
pipeline
record
capacity.
high levels of natural gas.
Okay, so let's just take a moment here. I live in California. The electricity prices are through the roof, but we are producing a high level of energy, right? Isn't that what you just said, CNN? And also the ladies on The View, right? I mean, this is why they're so disconnected from reality. On paper, of course, our production is higher than it's ever been. But in the homes and average Americans, they're not seeing a benefit of that. That's exactly what Trump is talking about. If we can lower energy prices, that's going to be more cash in our pocket.
Look, I
know your favorite pastime is to come out here and talk over me, but just please.
I care about the facts. I care about the facts.
The reality is, if you talk to anybody in the energy business, if you talk to anybody,
he says things that are wrong.
Well,
and I interrupt him and correct him because our job is to inform our audience.
I'll just wait.
Hang on 1 second.
Scott, no, it's fine. Go ahead.
Finish
no.
your point.
Look, I play this game every time we come out here. The legitimate answer is, he's going to do stuff on energy. He's going to take regulatory shackles off of the energy producers. If you talk to anybody in the energy business who produces, refines, deals with pipelines, this administration, Democrats in Congress, have put shackles on what they can do.
Then why is energy production at a record high?
If you take the shackles off, the prices will go down. It should help.
I guess what I'm wondering is...
Now, she's a person that's arguing that pushing for deregulation is not actually going to impact how much it costs to live in this country. Now, that's how delusional she really is. It's actually the cornerstone of the first Trump administration and what he was able to do in that regard. But I don't know what else that they want. I mean, she doesn't offer any solutions. She sounds like we should just keep doing what we've been doing. And if that's what you want to do, then you guys will just keep losing elections, because the average American is not seeing a return on investment, right? And that's why deregulation is so key to business, because it brings down the cost of doing business, which gives them the ability to invest more, also raise wages for their employees, and offer a product at a more affordable rate.
There are going to be tariffs.
What's it worth to anybody to actually get these other countries, especially Mexico, to get their attention on immigration and drugs and everything else? What's it worth?
I know
for you, you're not willing to pay a quarter more for an avocado to fix this.
We already have the cooperation of the Mexican government, which you refuse to acknowledge.
So you have one side who continues to sympathize with people who want to cross the border illegally. They also sympathize with the Mexican government, but they don't sympathize with the neighborhoods and the individuals and the families that are impacted by illegal migration. That's what's going on here. And if it was going to cost us just a little bit more to make sure that the border was secure, crime wasn't an issue, and all resources could be prioritized for the citizens that are actually here and people who have been waiting, I think majority of America would actually support that, which is why when they polled majority of America, they supported mass deportation. And tariffs is a tool to clearly threaten another country that if you don't comply with how we want these immigration practices to be adhered to, then this is what's going to happen. Sounds like common sense to me. So, of course, they're so stuck on this idea that if Trump implements tariffs, grocery prices will skyrocket. Well, during that debate, things definitely got out of hand when Bakari Sellers put his hand on Scott Jennings, and you have to see his reaction. Watch this.
Scott was actually 50% correct. in that Democrats did not do a good job in telling our story. We did not do a good job of addressing the pain that Americans felt. We said one of the mistakes we made throughout Biden's campaign was saying, Biden's presidency was saying that inflation was transitory. Like, those things were not accurate because there are people who were out there feeling the pain of the price of eggs, feeling the pain of the price of whiting, like my dad at Piggly Wiggly. Those things were real. What Scott was not accurate about, which kind of happens around the table sometimes, although I know you want to be.
Don't touch me.
I can't touch you.
All right, everybody keep your hands to yourselves at the table.
All right, but one of the things Scott was not accurate about, there was a reason why we have inflation in the first place. This is not Joe Biden's policy.
Yes,
now, I'll be honest with you guys. I sometimes wonder, how does Scott Jennings actually, how does he do this job, right? Because it's always one conservative against three liberals is what I always see on CNN. It's never actually balanced. But at any rate, here's my question for you guys. Do you agree that voters in this past election were misinformed about what Trump will do over the next 4 years as it pertains to his economic policies? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Now, clearly for the people who voted for Trump, that was not the case. Now, people who voted against him, they could care less about the economic policies. It was all about, social justice and identity politics and their feelings about Trump, right? So there's that. And that's why we continue to say how disconnected these liberals are from reality. You know, the ladies on The View, CNN, and all these other pundits who say they know better than you and me. The results say otherwise, which leads me to the video that's coming up now, where the drones that are clearly plaguing the skies of New Jersey and other states around the country, and how the White House continues to have zero answers on this issue. Well, President-elect Trump spoke out about it and put them on notice. He demanded that they either tell Americans what's going on or shoot the drones down. Now, there was a lot of other bombshell information that came out yesterday about the drones. So if you guys want to check out that video, all you have to do is click on it because it's coming up right now.